You're listening to The Bird Bath. Welcome back to The Bird Bath. Each week we scrape the surface of the news you need to know, so let's get into it. Kicking us off this week is a really big win for people that had called on the International Council for Veterinary Assessment to do an audit on the NAVLE. The ICVA released a statement saying that they will, in fact, make sure that the NAVLE is representative of all people that take the test. In their statement, they said, the North American Veterinary Licensing Examination is the cornerstone ensuring veterinary excellence across North America, and all of us at the ICVA are committed to ensuring that all members of the veterinary community feel confident in the exam's rigor and impartiality. Recently, members of the veterinary community have raised questions about how the NAVLE is developed, administered, and scored. To ensure the NAVLE continues to be a fair and impartial assessment of candidates' entry-level knowledge, skills, and abilities, we have made the decision to initiate an audit of the examination. They're going to do a lot of things to get this up and running, but I have to put out a huge congratulations and a thank you to the Latinx VMA for stepping up and kind of raising their hand asking for this audit. They did it in a fantastic way with a thoughtful and well-worded request and collaborative language in hopes of being able to find a path forward here. So kudos to both the Latinx VMA for bringing this to light, as well as the ICVA for actually stepping up and taking the comments and the criticisms and the critiques to heart and coming up with a way to introduce an independent audit to make this exam as relevant and as representative as possible. A large publicly traded company who we've talked about before just received a proposal for a total acquisition. PetMeds, which goes by the NASDAQ handle PETS, confirmed last week that they received an unsolicited, non-binding proposal from Silver Cape Investments. The goal here was to acquire all outstanding shares for $4 per share in cash. Now, the offer here is subject to due diligence and execution of a definitive agreement, but it's not conditioned on any financing. I dug a little bit more into this. Silver Cape is a investment group out of Singapore. It doesn't show that they have a large footprint in other businesses in the US market, but they own a little bit less than 12% of the entirety of shares of PetMeds. And PetMeds, you might know it as PetMed Express or PetMeds or any of the other names that they have. But the big thing here is that this is a company that we've seen a lot of news about this year. In August of this year, PetMeds had resignation of both their CEO and CFO as they hit some major issues in the bringing and closing of their quarter and doing all of their reporting for the quarter ending in August. It was a big news. It was a big story, and it was something that caused the stock to continue to fall. The stock was trading around $2-ish, and it saw a great spike off of the news of Silver Cape looking to make this investment. $4 a share would be a big win for shareholders, and it would be an opportunity for Silver Cape to take that full ownership. As I dug more into this, one of the things that was specifically interesting is that PetMeds has in its bylaws and shareholders agreements that no one can own more than 12.5% without triggering a shareholders' rights for people to be able to buy additional shares at a lower price point. So where Silver Cape is, they really can't purchase more shares without causing it to be a hostile takeover and big issues with their total dilution of the value of the company. So they really are in a spot here where bringing this to the board and making a public statement of a $4 per share purchase price is a big thing here. So we will be following up on this. Obviously, there's a lot of steps that go into purchasing a company if it's public and taking it private. There's a lot of additional things as well for an international company, like a business out of Singapore acquiring one off of NASDAQ. So tons of things to keep up to date on, but a story definitely worth watching. In more dollars and funding news, a couple companies that I'm a big fan of over in Europe have raised some rounds. First off, we've got MyRNA, which is a fantastic diagnostic business led by Eve Hanks. They've just closed their second venture capital-led financing round, which raised an additional $3.6 million for the business. They're going to be putting that towards rapid expansion across the global markets and utilizing that in a goal to bring diagnostics faster, more accurate, and more accessible to veterinarians, producers, and animal health professionals worldwide. They did their Series A round last year in July, bringing in $4 million then, and they've really been spreading themselves across the globe since then. It's an incredible team with an incredible company. This new round was participated in by their existing investors, NovaQuest, Vane, who a lot of people know, a lot of other incredible companies. And then there's two new investors, Holstein UK and NAVC, who I had a great opportunity to chat with them a bit about this before and was really, really happy to see the things that they're doing. Brian Axe, who's a partner at NovaQuest Capital, said the continued overwhelming support for MyRNA is a testament to the promise of this company, the team, and this innovative platform. We're excited to see this technology deployed in the market. MyRNA did some heavy work with that Series A round. They opened a new research lab at the University of Georgia in Athens last year, and they're going to be utilizing this to lead to even more expansion across the US market. So congratulations to everyone at MyRNA, and looking forward to see what you guys do next. Another company that, like we said, bringing in funding is HelloVet. HelloVet is really unique in the UK market. They're the first practice group that brings the pet owners into the treatment and recovery rooms. They've raised £15 million in Series A funding to bring their new approach to veterinary care to more British pets and their owners. Total investment for the company now is at $21 million, with their $6 million seed round in 2022. HelloVet sort of tackles things in a little bit different way, maybe somewhere that those of us in the US see what Veg does, and that HelloVet allows their clients into the procedure rooms. They are able to hold their paws pets as the anesthesia is administered, and they're able to be there while the pets wake up. The goal here is to reduce stress, not just for the pets, but for also the people. And they say it's been showing improved outcomes and speedy recovery while building more client trust. The company also has a complimentary WhatsApp triage service, and they say this service has saved more than £75,000 in fees for their owners in the last year alone. It's a really cool thing to be able to see a company bringing something new to the market. We're hearing about a lot of consolidation and a lot of things being triggered and changed across the UK market. So seeing HelloVet bring in some successful capital to help them grow is going to be great to see for the coming years. Finally, Indiana is doing something to try and tackle the hurdles to access to care. Indiana State Senate Bill 56 has passed out of committee. The goal of the bill is to help address the veterinary shortage in Indiana by giving out-of-state veterinary professionals, now that's veterinarians and veterinary technicians, the opportunity to care for animals in Indiana. The bill would allow the Board of Veterinary Medicine to issue licenses without requiring an examination for applicants who have licenses and experience working in other states. I dug a little bit deeper into the bill to figure out where the exact rules are here, and obviously it still needs to go through full voting and approval and everything like that. But what it says is that the Board of Veterinary Medicine would have the authority, but not a requirement, to grant an Indiana veterinary or veterinary technician license without requiring an additional exam for someone that holds that license in another state. They cite the reciprocity of healthcare professionals as kind of the reason and why they're looking at doing this. They're really trying to address the shortage of care in rural areas, which Indiana has many of. And the goal here is to be able to allow veterinarians and veterinary technicians to enter Indiana, take part in medicine there, and be able to treat animals across the state. They'd be joining a slew of other states that list reciprocity as a thing, but each state has their own little nuance to what they have here. So it's not as much a open door saying, come practice, be here, but it's more of a way for Indiana to try and signal to other practitioners across the country that, hey, come, we're trying to make this as easy as possible. We're looking for people to take care of our animals and do great things. Senator Jean Lysing, who is the author of the bill, said, "Our state is facing a serious veterinary shortage, especially for large animals. This bill would encourage out-of-state veterinarians to work in Indiana and give farmers more options on where to take their livestock for veterinary care, so the animals receive the attention they need. I look forward to working with my fellow legislators on this bill as it moves through the rest of the legislative process. So it's moving to the Senate now for further consideration. If you're in Indiana, call your senators and tell them to bring this on through. And for more on these and other stories, join us by subscribing to our Substack. There's a link in the bio. And don't miss out on any episodes by subscribing and rating the show. For the Bird Bath, I'm Ryan Leach. See you next week.